Okay, so let's get into Sagittarius. So this is our textbook, The Gospel and the Zodiac, The Secret Truth About JC the Christ Figure. All right, by the Reverend Bill Darrell-El. All right, this is by the Reverend Bill Darrell-El. Let's get into it. We're on Sagittarius. All right, page 167. The link to the free PDF is in the description area of this video. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm pretty confident that you'll learn new things during this presentation. All right, whether or not you'll enjoy it is another thing, because a lot of this information is a hard pill to swallow. It's a bright light, especially for religious people. You may experience cognitive dissonance. Oops. I'm drinking a smoothie. Prices in Vietnam are very inexpensive. So that smoothie, take a look at it. Okay. This is about $1.94. All right, about $1.94. So very inexpensive, very affordable. Okay, Sagittarius. The Sagittarius section is Mark, verse 1. I'm sorry, let me repeat that. Mark chapter 11, verse 1 through 26. Okay, so this is the chapter in the Gospel of Mark, or the section in the Gospel of Mark that's dealing with Sagittarius. So let's go ahead and show. This is Sagittarius. Take a look. It's a horse and a man with the bow and the arrow. This is the glyph. The shaded one is the glyph. All right, so take a look. Pause the video. Y'all notice that looks like JC inside of the circle. He has a halo around his head. Halo is the sun, right? All right, I'm assuming that's JC. Hold on. I'm assuming it's JC. Maybe it's somebody. They have a halo. But the sun, okay? Helios. Actually, you know, if you look up the word Helios, Helios, remove the H and you get Elios. Y'all know that's a deity, Elios. This is the deity who comes up over Oceania or the river at sunrise. Okay, JC is the sun, right? JC is the sun in Christian mythology. JC rises up over the horizon. The sun rises up over the horizon every morning, every day, right? The sun, when it rises, cancels out the dark or the night. This is yummy. One more. One more. I'm a big kid. Yeah, so the sun, when it rises, cancels out the night. So cancels out the night. So the halo is Helios. Also, you hear it in biblioheliotext, sun, right? One more drink, bro. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so sun, biblioheliotext, book of the sun. If it's the book of the sun, that means astrology. All right, scholars, that's astrology, okay? Now you also see El in that. El and Eos. E-L and Eos. Divine. All right, divine. So that's not the pantheon of El deities. That's not what I'm referring to. El as in Elios, Helios. Remove the H, you get E-L-I-O-S. You can further break that into L, E-L, and then Ios. All right, y'all Google search those and see what you come up with. Divinity, sun. The sun is brightness, right? The highest level of what? Intellectual ability or capability. You reach the height of it. Clear? So you can relate this to the L's, the Moorish title, right? The lords or the divine people of the land. Y'all got it? All right. Not devils and demons. Just these are the ones who are divine. Thank you. So let me show you how. So yes, we Moors, we are divine. How does that make y'all feel? So this is the finished product. This is what they serve you. It tastes good, but this is a syrup. I can tell it's a syrup. So I'm not going to drink too many of those. You know, the syrup is not healthy for you at all. Y'all know that high fructose corn syrup is a poison, right? But anyway, let's continue. I hope you made the connection. The L's, or the Eels rather, the Moorish title Il, others, Bay, Day, Ali, and all, or in ancient Ibaryath we would say Allah because it's the A and the La, Allah. All right? The divine ones. All right. So we are Genesis chapter 2 Moors, the substance and subject matter of the law. We're talking law. The lawful definition of the word law. All right, so when we deal with cosmology, we deal with law. When we deal with what they're calling the Bible, we deal with law. All right, law. Okay, so let's get into this. Page 167, like and share the video, y'all. Okay, Sagittarius section of Mark is Mark 11, 1 through 26. So we're going to start this off with a quote from Milton by William Blake, who was born November 28th, which makes him a Sagittarius. in the year 1757. So y'all should know already, scholars, that these quotes are taken from people who are of the sign. So Sagittarius quotes were taken from a guy who's a Sagittarius. Libra from someone who's a Libra. All right? Let's continue. Bring me my bow of burning gold. Bring me my arrows of desire. Bring me my spear, O clouds unfold. Bring me my chariot of fire. Now that sounds familiar, right? I will not cease from mental flight. I will not cease from mental fight, nor shall my sword sleep in my hand. Isn't this sounding familiar, y'all? Till we have built Jerusalem in England's green and pleasant land. All right? That sounds very familiar. Y'all should be able to correlate the the Sagittarius with the coming back or the return of the Christ figure, right? We've heard this before. By the way, I mentioned this in the last presentation. When scripture, any scripture, has within it hints or obvious reflections of or the same stories from mythology, what do we call that? Let's say we're also looking at the etymological meaning of words also. Philology, right? It's the convergence of all of these sciences when we consider all of these things to come to an understanding of what the text actually means. Okay, so when we deal with this, etymology and law are critical. Also the mythology. So let's continue. Sagittarius and Jupiter. Sagittarius is the third sign in the fire triplicity, and it shares the ardor and passion of Aries and Leo. Y'all got that? So Sagittarius is related to Aries and Leo in terms of the fire. Okay? The fire signs which precede it in the zodiac circle. Okay, so they come before it. As the mutable fire sign, however, it represents a combination of passion and mobility, and so has come to symbolize the fervent urge to transcend the barriers of convention, to move outward and onward in the search for wisdom and truth. All right? So remember, there are cardinal signs. So the solstices, winter and spring solstice, the equinoxes, right? Spring and fall equinox. So there are 4 cardinal signs, 1, 2, 3, 4, whichever way you want to count them. So between cardinal signs, let's say spring and summer solstice, okay? So this is the cardinal sign. It's going to be fixed and then mutable, all right? Fixed and mutable. So cardinal, fixed, mutable, okay? Across all of them. This is what they're talking about. So if it's fixed, the cardinal signs are ushering in you have to consider it from the point of view of somebody in the north. They're the seasons, right? Spring, summer, winter, fall. Okay? Those don't change. They're right? They don't change. The mutable, when you're ending one and going to another, okay, so you're going to see some synergies between the two, right? Some convergence. Why? Because you're transitioning. The fixed, there's no transition. The transition in has taken place. Now it's fixed. Now you're going to transition out, right? And so moving ending one zodiac sign going into another, right? So there's going to be some convergence, all right? That's what it's saying. All right, let's get into it. All right. As the mutable fire sign, however, it represents a combination of passion and mobility, and so has come to symbolize the fervent urge to transcend the barriers of convention, to move outwards and onwards in the search for wisdom and truth. Its glyph, we already looked at that, so I'm not going to show it again. Its glyph, which is basically an arrow. Well, let me show it. Doesn't hurt to show it. Here's the glyph. Its glyph expresses this perfectly. The arrow directed to the heavens, symbolizing the power of man's aspirations and the deadly earnestness of his quest. Ptolemy designated Sagittarius a bicorporal sign, two-bodied, a concept that had mythological expression in the centaur, half man, half horse, a symbol of the warfare between the spiritual and cardinal aspects of the individual person. Now that's very interesting, isn't it? A mythological expression in the centaur, half man, half horse, symbol of warfare. What is a half man, half horse? Is that a hybrid? Yes, it is, right? That's a hybrid. A symbol of warfare between the spiritual, spiritual, you're talking about Christianity, religion, right? Spiritual is the opposite of nature. A symbol of the warfare between religion, spiritual, and carnal, earthly aspects of an individual person. Isn't that very interesting? I don't know what they're getting at. I have some understanding of what they mean by spiritual, but that's all a bunch of garbage, y'all. What you've learned in religion about spirituality is garbage. Okay? One, it violates the first commandment. Don't have another power before me. Okay? So your spirituality is to seek, to worship, revere something external to yourself, and make yourself the servant and it the master over you. That's the first thing. The second thing is that this word spirit simply means breath. This is the art of breathing, which means good health, right? The art of maintaining optimal health. So y'all been played on this concept of spirituality. You think it's some relationship. It's nothing of the sort. All right? So let's deal with the words, what they really mean, not what you have been indoctrinated to think that they mean. Okay? So Sagittarius, bicorporal. Okay, it is a half man, half horse, which is a symbol of the warfare between the spiritual, let's call that religion, and carnal, let's call that earthly or natural aspects of the individual person. So that means what? That means what? You have a choice whether or not you're going to follow natural law, be in harmony with the Most High, which means keeping His commandments, or whether you're going to abandon that and go chase after external deities and follow a belief system. Yes, there's a war, and there was a war that took place. Religion didn't just happen and it controls everything. No, it was done through warfare. Christianity and Islam. That's how they spread, warfare. And it's continuing as warfare right now. Yes, it is warfare, psychological warfare. In some places on the planet, it's actually physical war. Okay? And it's war in the so-called justice system. Because they're, for lack of a better word, their walls, let me rephrase that. Their legal concepts are based in religion, largely. That's why they call it the Judeo-Christian. That's religion. The Judeo-Christian legal system. All right? And what do they do? What do they do in that system? They made everyone a corporation. And therefore, everyone a slave. Chattel property. Y'all see the connection here? Do you see that? So it's very toxic. It is war. And they're not telling you about it. And they're forcing, and they have forced, and they continue to force people to be their slaves, to be sure of them, to carry the bag of debt for them. All right, y'all? These weird creatures were almost always considered to be savage. All right, now is religion savage? You bet. Check its history. Religion is responsible for killing more people than anything or anybody else on the planet, with exception to a scrupulous teacher, Chiron, who was renowned for his kindness and wisdom, who gave his life to save Prometheus, and who represents the eventual triumph of the human over the beast. Let me let this machine stop. I think I sat too close to the counter. But I've never heard a machine going that long. Okay, it stopped, yeah. I sat too close to the counter. All right, y'all? Also, isn't it interesting that the mythology and the religion are related? Isn't that interesting? Yes, because these are what? Nephilim and Raphaim. Some of them may even be Titans, right? Nephilim, Titans, Raphaim. Y'all got it? In the religion. What separates the human, when you see human, you should be thinking Han Uman. From the beast is, in part, what Sagittarius represents. The restless pursuit of spiritual values, which constantly presents the seeker with new challenges and new journeys. Y'all got that? I have a question to ask you. What if religion was created for the hybrid? What if religion was created for the hybrid, and then they flipped it and put it on us? Just a thought that came to my mind. They are half primate. They come from chimpanzee. Some people even say other animal DNA was involved in that, right? They don't have the same consciousness as we do, and everybody can see that. Not only can you see it, but you check the history, okay, of the paleface. Look at his idea of what hygiene was before we taught them. Look how they ate. Okay, it was very animalistic. So what if the religion was created for them? Y'all think about that. To give them something to be able to know the difference between right and wrong. Or give them extra motive to overcome their animalistic desires. Could that be? Could it be? And then they leapfrogged us and then put the religion on us. Right? And they took nature. They took cosmology. And said, we're not going to ever let y'all learn about this. This is the key to our power, religion, and the use of the cosmos, the use of nature. Nature knows no good and bad. Y'all know that? Nature knows no good and bad. So let's continue. So we have a quote here. Emily Dickinson, born December 10th, so Sagittarius, in 1830, who traveled little physically, but whose mental voyages were extensive, summed up the Sagittarian quest in this lovely poem. So this is the quest that the author talked about that can be deadly. Let me make sure I got that right. Let me make it. All right, so here back on page 167 at the beginning of the chapter, it says the mutable fire sign represents a combination of passion and mobility. So the mobility is the travel, right? That's the travel component. All right, now let's go back to, here it is. Okay, it says the arrow directed to the heavens, symbolizing the power of man's aspirations, his hopes, and the deadly earnestness of his quest. All right, so if he's serious about his quest, whatever he's after, it can be deadly for him or somebody else, right? That's how I'm understanding it, but let's see how they develop it. So this author sums up the Sagittarian quest. So let's read through this and see what we get. The word is not conclusion. The world, rather, is not conclusion. A species stands beyond, invincible as music, but positive as sound. It beckons and it baffles. Philosophy don't know. And through a riddle, at the last, sagacity must go. To guess it, puzzle scholars. To gain it, men have borne contempt of generations and crucifixion shown. Faith slips and laughs and rallies, blushes if any, see, plucks at a twig of evidence and asks a vain the way. Much gesture from the pulpit, strong hallelujahs stroll, a roll. Narcotics cannot still the tooth that nibbles at the soul. So I guess this is a person who has lived a life richly. They've done a lot of stuff. Okay? Crucifixion is mentioned. Contempt for generations. Okay? Etc. Y'all know I don't like this kind of stuff. Poetry and literature. It's not my thing. So if y'all can make something out of that, y'all go do it. I don't want to spend time with it. It's not my thing. Or as they used to say, it's not my bag. I've never liked literature. All right. I've always been a science and history person. Okay. On a less nibbling level, however, Sagittarius represents acts of daring, swashbuckling, heroism, taking a chance, having a gamble, everything. In fact, which takes the individual out of convention's grove and gives a bit of momentum to his life. So in other words, these are people who live on the edge. They'll try anything. They live on the edge. That's Sagittarius. That's how I'm understanding this. All long journeys, spiritual, religious, philosophical, as well as physical, are Sagittarian. So might it be that a Sagittarian is more prone to be religious or to be deeply religious? According to this, yes. So it is entirely appropriate that Sagittarius came to be associated with the horse, the primary means of long distance travel. Okay, well, that makes sense. But since we know that Egypt is actually in the Americas, the most ancient Egypt is in the Americas. Y'all remember when they used to say there were no horses in the Americas? Well, guess where the only place on earth where you're going to get 4 seasons: winter, summer, spring, and fall. The other places they'll have rainy season and summer season. When I was in Poland, it was always cold. When the snow melted, their summertime was still cold. Their summertime was like our fall, or fall just before winter. But we have in North America winter, summer, spring, and fall. In Southeast Asia, they have sunny or dry and wet season. Only 2. It's only in North America. Now remember, I mentioned earlier in the video today, this one, the 4 cardinal points represents the 4 seasons. All right? So if they had knowledge of the 4 seasons, they had to be in the Americas, right? Particularly in North America. Because when you go below Mexico, when I was in Mexico, it didn't snow. It was cold in the fall in Mexico City, but I went south into Yucatan and it was hot. All right, they didn't have winter. Now when you go below 23.5 south, it's gonna start getting cold, like in Chile. When you go to the pole, it's already freezing, right? But I've heard people say that there are some places at both of the poles that are tropical. I don't know if that's true. I love doing that. Okay, y'all? So if there's a half man, half horse, and the Egyptians were in, well, not and if, but the Americas is Egypt, the first Egypt. The Egypt over on the other side of the Atlantic, that's a satellite Egypt. It's not ancient, all right? The old ancient Egypt is the Americas. So there must have been horses in the Americas. That's my point. But anyway, let's continue. Okay. Sagittarius came to be associated with the horse, the primary means of all long distance and land travel in the ancient world. And hippos on horseback was one of its names among the Greeks. Somebody do some research on this word, hippos. I don't know what that is. I don't have the ability to do it here. I'm at a cafe, a coffee shop rather. Somebody look that up. Put it in the comment section. Also like and share the video, y'all. Important because YouTube shadow bans the channel. So let's continue. It is this connection with the horse that Manilius concentrates on in his description of the Sagittarian type. But he also gives us a hint of the sign's reputation for being undaunted. Undaunted, and for pressing onwards, heedless of danger. All right? Now that can be good and bad, right? That can be a good thing and a bad thing. Okay, the double cantor different tempers breeds. They break the horse and tame the fiery steeds. They love the surrounding whip, the race, the rein, and the world, the chariot, or the dust plain. Nor is their humor to the fields confined. They range the woods and tame the savage king. Okay, so they're comparing the horse, a wild horse, and a trainer. Sagittarius can be both. Okay? For in the frame, in double forms express, I don't know if that's a typo, the man is uppermost and rules the beast. Okay, so in other words, the beast is controlled by what? The executive function of man's brain. Okay? The man is uppermost and rules the beast. His bow, full drawn, implies his rays in part. Okay, Roro Amani Hippos, ancient Greek, may refer to a number of people from Greek mythology. Hippos, the son of Mimes and father of Adonis, the keeper of the winds in the Odyssey. He was a mortal king. Okay, so the keeper of the winds of the Shalawama, much appreciated, Roro Amani, much appreciated. So that's who Hippos is. Let me read it again. Ancient Greek may refer to a number of people from Greek mythology. Hippos, son of Mimas and father of Aeolus, the keeper of the winds in the Odyssey. He was a mortal king. Okay, so he was a man. Excellent. Much appreciated. So let's continue. For in the frame, in double forms expressed, the man is the uppermost and rules the beast. His bow, full drawn, implies the rays, that's capital R-Y-S in part. And I'm wondering if he's talking about sun rays. I don't know. Strength to the limbs and vigor to the heart. Quick and active motions, full of warmth and heat, still pressing on, unknowing to retreat. Okay, so the horse's bottom, the strength of a horse, right? To move quickly, to travel quickly, right? You can jump, you can run, you can stride. Very powerful. A horse is very powerful, but it has the mind of a man. Okay, so therefore it can pursue whatever it wants to pursue. It can be emotional, get hot, fiery hot over something, right? It can act as a hero. Why? Because it has the executive function and the power. And the power of a beast, an animal, a horse. All right, it's animalistic, so it might like to gamble, take chances, do anything. Okay? All right. Eleanor Kirk, writing in 1894, explores the fiery nature of Sagittarius in the following terms. I'm getting tired of reading all these quotes. I'm not much of a quotes person, but I'll continue to read. Hopefully this is the last one. In case some of y'all enjoyed these quotes, my personality, this doesn't suit me. I'm a science guy. I haven't developed this aspect of my mind to be able to appreciate this stuff, and neither do I want to. I've never liked literature, but let's continue. People born in Sagittarius have a tendency to fly all to pieces over a small matter. So there's the animal-like behavior, right? Or you can look at it like a chimpanzee. They can just, boom, you don't know what happens, and all of a sudden they go wild. They were calm 1 minute before. Are quick to anger, but quickly get over it. Combative, and determined. In other words, don't make a Sagittarius mad, right? Don't make a Sagittarius mad. Why? Because they're combative and they're determined to have their own way. Have y'all ever known somebody or been in a relationship with someone who doesn't care how you feel? Have y'all ever experienced that? They get upset with you about something, you don't even know what it is. And behind your back, they start to sabotage and destroy, ruin your reputation, either with your family or your friends, whoever they have the ability to reach out to, they're going to slander you. And if not slander, they're going to reveal secrets that they know they shouldn't reveal. Okay? They know they shouldn't. That's called betrayal, right? Yes, they'll do that. Combative. Right? Combat can be what? Face to face. We know we're fighting. Or it could be someone smiling in your face, pretending to be your friend, but waging war with you behind your back, i.e. the hybrid troglodyte Paleolithic colonist, nigger, who classifies itself, who has stolen the Moorish title, the autochthonous, Genesis chapter 2, divine people, we the people, their title, as white people. Smile in your face and denationalize you. Make you feel proud about calling yourself black. How? By giving you music and poetry and short stories and novels and heroes and movies like Martin Luther King, Louis Farrakhan, Roots, 12 Years a Slave. All of this, why? To transport you into the narrative that they want you to believe so that you can begin to what? Feel proud about being black. Black is the double, triple darkness of all that garbage. When in fact you've been denationalized and classified as a stateless person. And there's no technical term that the court has to be aware of about you. In other words, you ain't SHIT. Don't even waste your time. You don't need to know nothing about this black guy. Lock his ASS up. Why? Because we gonna make some money off of you. Y'all see how that goes? Talk to someone who went to court, let's say for a foreclosure or for a traffic ticket. They went in there by themselves. I bet you they got dogged out and punked out. Maybe not all, but most get dogged out, punked out, bullied by of all people, the judge. I have a friend who was going through an eviction. Went into the venue, got punked out by the judge who's supposed to be neutral in the matter. But you go into these venues and you're in the status of a black, an African American, one of these brands, you're outside of your Moorish nationality, you have no protection. And they dog you out. All right? Period. Anyway, let's continue. They are unreasonable in their desire to help those, and by the way, so this is what? Narcissistic behavior, right? Also animalistic, okay? So how do they manage to stay in power so long? Your religious people will say, well, because Christ ain't come back yet. When Christ come back, he gonna get Esau. I'm gonna call my big brother. and he gonna beat you up. No. When you want to look at it at the context of the documents, you simply refer to Deuteronomy 28. Okay? Deuteronomy 28, well, no, let's not do 28:30. Deuteronomy 30 says what? Return to the Most High. Abandon these religions and return to the Most High. Return to following natural law. The law that governs the cosmos, the law that governs consciousness and commerce between men. Period. That's all you got to do, and it's easy. And don't forget Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 8. All right? So you have to leave the faith systems, the belief systems, and come back to reality. All right? Why do I say reality? Because reality are those things we experience only with our senses. Okay? So that puts you squarely back in nature. Okay? And out of this imagination stuff, fears of devils and demons who've never lived. Okay? Or at least don't live right now. Okay? Operating on what you believe things should be, and what's right and what's wrong, in your opinion. Okay? None of that stuff matters. All right? That's why you're getting beat up. Still. Anyway, let's continue. So they are unreasonable in their desire to help those they love. Okay, so maybe they're a good friend until you make them mad. I'd rather not have a friend like that. And zealous and over sanguine in whatever they undertake. Okay? So they're going to go at it. It sounds like there's no cruise speed. They're on the constant acceleration. Okay? I would rather have a friend who is consistent. You know, consistent personality. They don't get too mad. They don't get too angry. Nothing really bothers them. You know, they're always there. I'd rather have a friend like that than somebody whose personality is like that. That's too much. You know, maybe when you're young you can deal with that, but you know, at this age, I don't want to deal with this kind of personality. Maybe they'll be here for you today, but they won't tomorrow, right? They're sad, you know, today, and next week they're happy. That's too much. All right? Let's see, they're unwilling to wait for proper times and seasons. Wow. So Sagittarius would be the kind of person who's doing things and you'd be like, what the heck did he just do? Did he just do that? Did he just say that? Or like, dude, we're having lunch. Why would you do that? Why would you say that? Right? I know plenty of people like that in the past. And desire to rush through every piece of work as soon as it presents itself. So a Sagittarius who pays attention to detail, maybe he's a good productive worker, right? Because he can get it done fast. But one who's not who's not skilled at, you know, paying attention to all of the details, it sounds like he would be a horror to work with or to have him working for you. He'd be making mistakes all the time, or not finishing his assignments, blaming people. Okay? So this quote was from Giddings, 1972, page 162. If any of y'all watching this video are Sagittarius, can y'all put it in the chat whether this sounds like your personality or not? If you're not ashamed to admit it. Or wait a minute, you can say you know somebody who is a Sagittarius, right? Yeah. So you can say you know someone who's Sagittarius and this is how their personality is. I'm curious because I've never paid attention to this type of stuff, to be honest with you. The Sagittarian phase of the spiritual life is the point at which we can learn to act confidently and courageously to make our vision a reality. Now, I've said many times this concept of a spiritual life, that's whatever the reader imagines it to be. Okay, so William Dote's right. I know someone who is Sagittarius. So does this sound like their personality, William Dote's? Is this halfway right? Sounds real right? Or way off? So let's continue. Kind of. Okay. He says it's kind of. All right. Thank you. So let's see. Blake's New Jerusalem can only be created by means of the bows, arrows, spears, chariots, and swords, which symbolize the Sagittarian challenge to all those powers like sloth, indifference, and habit, which enslave the human spirit. Okay, so this is not settling well with me. And with which we are all called to battle. So he's making this an internal fight. But I'm seeing this as religious, political battles. How many of y'all agree with me? Because that's what we see in history. The religions going to battle. All right? So the Jerusalem that was set up, what was it, in 1948, 1945, I forgot? That's done through warfare, right? That's a New Jerusalem because why? Jerusalem never was over there. The original Jerusalem was not located in East Africa over there. So that's new. I'm just paying attention to the words, all right? I'm not making any assumptions. I'm looking at the literal meaning of the word or the words being used. Blake's New Jerusalem. Some of y'all might be thinking New Jerusalem as in heavenly Jerusalem or something like that. I'm thinking literally new means new and Jerusalem. The Jerusalem in East Africa is new. All right? That's not the location of the promised land. All right? And how was it taken? Through warfare, bows, arrows, spears, chariots, and swords. These things symbolize the Sagittarian challenge to all those powers like sloth, indifferent, and habit, which enslave the human spirit. Now, human is Han Uman, Roro, July 12, 1946. Thank you. July 12, 1946. Yeah, that was a New Jerusalem. Through warfare, established. Maintained through intimidation and warfare. All right? The power of a beast, the lower part, the horse, right? The horse is used in warfare, and the executive function of the mind of a man. And they behave like beasts all throughout the world, right? Especially in the Middle East. Okay, waging war and hiding their hand. Instigating wars and hiding their hand. All right, constantly, no break from the warfare, none. Okay, so let's continue. This requires the other fire sign virtue, faith. The other fire sign virtue, which is faith. That's again religion. The contract with the Most High doesn't say anything about faith, y'all. It talks about trust. Trust is based upon reputation, your experience with someone. Okay? Faith is the assured expectations of things hoped for, although not beheld. That is not trust. Trust is you've demonstrated to me time and again that you do what you're going to say you do, what you say you're going to do, how you're going to do it, right? Everything is good. I know from past experience with you that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. So, okay, I trust you. So trust is backwards focused. I've seen you. You've demonstrated. I've seen it. Faith, there is no such thing. Trust is backwards focus. You've seen the demonstration, okay? You know it for a fact. Faith, again, is something you expect. It's a hope. The assured expectations of things hoped for, although not beheld. Although not beheld means what? You've never seen it. There's no trust involved. Y'all got that? In our records, what they call the Hebrew scriptures, that's all about trust. You trust the Most High. Not because of something you expect that's never happened. No, it's because of what you've seen. This is why our ancestors were told to do what? Tell the stories about what happened. Tell your children. Why? So that they will develop trust. Right? Why was Moses sent up into the mountain before he got the words from the Most High? It was so that the people would see it with their own eyes. Why do they need to see it and hear it? Because now they saw it, they heard it with their own eyes and ears. That's a basis to trust. No faith involved. Okay, in fact, that it was set up to be that way shows us that trust is what counts most. That's why we were told to what? Always put our trust in Moses, not in JC, not in Isaiah, not in Nehemiah, all right? Not in Jeremiah, no. The law was given through Moses. Clear? Everybody clear? Anyway, we've been going almost an hour. If y'all like the presentation, this was a little bit slow for me. I'm in a new venue, and I sound like I'm very loud. There are other people in here, so I'm a little bit uncomfortable. Anyway, if you like the presentation, the information, I'm inviting you to support my work. The book of the law must be written in ancient Ibaryath, and I'm the man to do it. That's the project. I'm asking everyone to support it if you feel it in your heart that we need to have our own version of the book of the law. I think it's a shame. It's a disgrace. It's a dishonor for us not to have our own book of the law. So we need to have that done. That's a big project, y'all. KJV, NIV, all of these Bible translations, they have teams of people who they pay and who work on these translations. All right. Then they have teams that do the production. Okay. Teams that work on the distribution and marketing. And here it's just me. All right. So I'm not going to, and I'm going to tell y'all directly, I'm not going to eat soy sauce and rice and halfway kill myself trying to do this project by myself. All right. And then when I get it done, y'all know the people, they're not going to support it, right? So I need to get the interest and participation of the people up front. Okay, so that way there's a demand for it when it's finally done. Okay, and it's not just going to sit on Amazon and nobody buy it. Y'all hear me? Okay, so I need your support to get this project done. It's a big project. I'm going to have to hire people to do certain work for me. I need to have the time and the space to be able to do this project. This is a full-time job to do that, y'all. Okay, so support it if you feel it in your heart. If you don't, you don't. I have written a lot of ancient Ibaryath books. My links to those books are in the description area of this video. I have an online class, 101 Ancient Ibaryath. This teaches you ancient Ibaryath. You must absolutely learn ancient Ibaryath. You're going to learn linguistic concepts and principles. You're going to learn philology, grammar. I mean, there's so much, and you don't need any background in biblical Hebrew or modern Hebrew. That class is a phenomenal class. It's like 112 or 13 video lessons, okay? And it's only $10 per month. Subscription, cancel anytime. And, you know, I've been thinking I should increase the price because people might think, I mean, I know how our people are. If you give something away for free, they think it's trash, or they come in and they disrespect it. And it's the same thing as when you make something almost free, right? They think it's not good because of the price. But I've had it at this price point for probably about a year, and I think it's time for me to begin to increase the price to reflect its true value. At some point, I'm going to do that. But even still, right now, it's still only $10. But how anybody can pass that up, and you should see the Ibaryath word studies. Y'all might call it Hebrew word studies. It's phenomenal, okay? It's phenomenal. But anyway, that's there. On Saturdays, I teach a class live online in Zoom. 506 The Curses course, where you actually learn how to translate the Bible. And I actually show you. Okay, I actually show you how to do it. It's not religious, it's linguistics. Okay? So we deal with the documents itself, we deal with law, we deal with mythology, we deal with science, and the cosmos. All right? So this is philology. Okay, we're going to deal with all of that. All right? All you got to do is show up. The links are in the description area of the video. I'm Dr. Yasapa from Zion Law School. I'll see y'all on the next one.